All right. So today we're going to talk about our bones. But before we do, I just want to quickly talk about last week when we were talking about limiting our screen time to 2 hours or less. That is what is recommended for youth. So Paxton and other kids that you may have in your family, they should be at 2 hours or less. And while they are at school and doing work, sometimes from their Chromebooks and that kind of thing, what we really want to focus on is what they're doing at home and trying to limit that to 2 hours or less. And then for kids, especially, and adults, if you notice your eyes are hurting, your head, neck, something like that, just pay attention to that and remember to take a little break and try to find something else to do for just a little bit. And then last week we kind of talked about creating a list. And so if you happen to do that with your family, make sure you put that in a place where you can see it, your kids can see it, and refer to it when you need an idea of something that you could do. And some great examples are just going for a walk, playing a board game, reading a book, ride your bike, play some kind of sport or play with a pet, and just go outside for a little bit. And so again, today we're going to talk about keeping our bones strong and healthy. And so why do we need our skeleton? Paxton, do you know why we need our skeleton? Why do we need our bones?
So we can move our body.
Good job. Yeah. So that is definitely
great.
one reason why we need our bones is so that it can help us to move. It also gives your body its shape. It provides protection for organs such as your heart and your lungs. So you have your rib cage, all those bones that are protecting all those vital organs that we need. And it stores minerals. And without bones, our human body would be nothing more than a shapeless blob of tissue on the floor. So that wouldn't look very good. So thank goodness we have bones to give us shape. And so how can you keep your bones strong and healthy? So Tom and Martha, you can chime in too. What is something everyone always says that we need to do in order to keep our bones strong?
Move.
Move, good.
Yeah, move.
Yeah, we definitely need to be moving.
Have
Yes.
calcium.
Have calcium, and when we have calcium, what do we usually think of when we think of calcium?
Milk.
Milk. Yeah. So many
Yeah.
times we hear someone say, drink milk because we're going to get calcium because it is really rich in calcium and good for our bones to help keep them strong and healthy. And Martha answered the next question. It says milk provides you with a mineral your body needs, and that mineral's name is calcium. So we need calcium to help keep our bones strong and healthy. And so on the next couple of slides, we're going to talk about some foods that we should eat to help provide that. So foods made from milk are called dairy foods. And so some of the foods in the dairy group that are really rich with calcium would be milk. It's the best. And then cheeses, natural cheeses, and cottage cheese and yogurt. Those are the ones that are really rich in calcium. Sometimes kids or people may ask about, what about cream cheese or sour cream or ice cream? And while those they do have some calcium in them, they're not really rich in calcium. And so they wouldn't be the best source for getting calcium, but they do have some in there. And then there are people who don't like milk. I'm one of those people. I have never liked drinking milk. And then we also have people who may have allergies. They may be lactose intolerant or they might have a milk allergy. And so for people like that, we need to have some other foods that we can have in our diet that will give us plenty of calcium. Paxton, do you like to drink milk?
Yes, I do.
Good. I'm so glad. I wish I did. I try it every so often. I just don't really like it. I like it in things. I just don't like to drink it. And so some other things that we could be eating or drinking that have calcium in them is tofu. We can also go to the store and we can find calcium and vitamin D fortified orange juice. Sometimes you can find calcium fortified breads and cereals, and it's going to say on the packaging, on the label, on the front of it somewhere, it will say that calcium and vitamin D have been added. I have a picture of a particular juice that I purchase because I love orange juice. And so when I want to drink that, I make sure that I buy this particular kind that has calcium and vitamin D added to it, so that I'm definitely have another way to get some calcium. My son likes to drink milk, but he doesn't drink a lot of milk. And so again, I buy it so that he too, in the morning time when he has breakfast, he always wants to have orange juice. And that way has another source to give him calcium. I think at most grocery stores, they usually have at least one variety of orange juice that has calcium and vitamin D added to it. Some other foods would be like a soft tortilla shell or a hard corn tortilla also has calcium in them. If you happen to like almonds, those are a good source of calcium. Eating oatmeal would be good. Broccoli is great. And then dark leafy green vegetables like spinach, kale, colored greens, mustard greens, those have calcium in them. And then beans, if you happen to like pinto beans or kidney beans, those also have some calcium in them. And while I primarily, when I'm going into the schools, I'm primarily visiting with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. They fall into this age range where you see the little arrows, the 9 to 18-year-old range. They fall in there. And so I have them look at this chart. I have a paper that has this chart on it and point out that during that time in their life, that's when we need the most calcium. And so we need to figure out ways to get that in our diet each day. And 1 cup of milk has approximately 300 milligrams of calcium. So if you were only drinking milk throughout the day, you would need about 4 cups of milk to get you close to that 1300. But hopefully we're eating other things throughout the day to give us calcium and not just having to solely rely on milk. Now our chart only goes up to 50 years old, and I did look to see for adults older than 50, and it still is around, some agencies will say up to 1200 milligrams, but I would say check with your doctor and see what they say would be appropriate for you. It probably will depend on how much food you're getting. And then some people take vitamins, calcium supplements to get more calcium, but check with your doctor if you're doing something like that to make sure that you're doing what is appropriate for you. Adults need 3 servings of dairy products every day. And so just to give you an example of what counts as a serving, it's based on the calcium content of that particular dairy product. So 1 serving would equal 1 cup of milk or 1 cup of yogurt. 1 serving would be 1.5 ounces of natural cheese or 2 ounces of processed cheese. 1/3 cup of shredded cheese and 1/2 cup of ricotta cheese and 2 cups of cottage cheese. So that just gives you an idea if those are some things that you like to eat, what would count as a serving. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second because I just realized I need to put our food in the oven. So let me talk about that for a second and then we'll go back. So today we are making bell pepper nachos. So a lot of times when you think of, do you like nachos, Tom? Or do you like bell
Yes.
peppers?
Yes, I do.
Good. Martha, you like bell peppers too?
We love bell peppers.
And Paxton, what about you? Do you like bell peppers?
I don't, but I also want to ask a question.
Okay, what is your question?
Sometimes me and my brother can drink a whole gallon of milk in a day.
Wow, that is a lot. You are definitely getting a good amount of calcium drinking that much milk. That's for sure. Well, So instead of making nachos regularly with chips, again, we are trying to offer some recipes to help you incorporate some more fruits and vegetables into your diet. And so this is another way that you could make nachos in a little different way. So I have already cut them up. I did put aluminum foil over my pan just because it recommended it, but I imagine once I start putting all the toppings on there, your pan could get really difficult to clean afterwards. So this will make cleanup really quick and easy by having the aluminum foil on there. I did spray it. It did not say that you needed to, but I did just in case. And what I did was your recipe is going to call for some meat. So you could have ground turkey, hamburger, ground chicken. I did a regular chicken breast, and this is just, can you believe this is one huge chicken breast that I just boiled, and then I shredded it. And I added, it says you can add like beans or salsa to it as well. So I had a little bit of salsa, but not a lot. So I had this can of Rotel. I love Rotel. So I added a little bit of salsa and then a can of Rotel. I added black beans in there as well. And I went ahead and added some shredded cheese. So I've got all this mixed together. So I'm just going to try to spread it out onto the pan as best I can. And it says this needs to cook for about 15 minutes until the green peppers, everything's kind of warmed through and the cheese is melted good. You can see this made quite a bit. Just a little bit more. Now, if you were in a hurry and you didn't want to take time to boil a chicken or, brown hamburger or ground turkey, you could also use a can of just, chicken breast. You could try that if you wanted to. I'm going to take the earbuds out for just a second so that I can stick this in the oven real quick. I'm forgetting all kinds of things today. So I did add some cheese to it, but I am going to put a little bit more shredded cheese on top. I need my family to come over here. This makes so much. What do you think? Does it look yummy though?
Yes, it does.
I think it looks so good, so pretty.
That looks so good.
All right, I turned that on for about 15 minutes. So we'll see how it looks after the 15 minutes. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Sorry, I had to interrupt that. I got ahead of myself today. Okay, so 3 servings. Adults need to try to get in 3 servings of dairy in order to get enough calcium in your diet. So especially for kids, we want to focus on trying to eat something with calcium at each meal and snack. And so I'm just giving you an example of a day of how you could incorporate that at each meal. So at breakfast time, maybe having a bowl of cereal or oatmeal and then a glass of milk to drink. So you're getting milk. If you have cereal or oatmeal, you're getting some calcium that way, and then calcium from the milk that you drink. At lunchtime, again, if you had milk to drink or cheese on a sandwich, going to give you more calcium. For a snack, you might make a fruit and yogurt parfait. So you have calcium from your yogurt. And then at dinner, if you made tacos, if you had corn tortillas, you're going to get a little bit of calcium from there. And then the cheese on it will give you a little bit more calcium. So this would be just example of how you could incorporate that throughout the day in order to make sure that you're getting enough calcium. And there are a couple other things that we can do to help keep our bones strong and healthy. And so Tom said that earlier, I think, didn't you say by moving, Tom? And
Yes.
he's so
Yes.
right, doing weight bearing activities. And these are some activities that involve jumping. So if you think of like jump rope, playing basketball, doing some jumping jacks, those are some good examples of activities that require you to jump. Paxton, what do you like to do where you're jumping? Do you have a trampoline? Yeah, I thought you said you had a trampoline would be fun. Those are all great. But then just even walking and running, those are considered more like everyday activities. And we're still going to be that's still going to be considered a weight bearing activity, just not as intense as where we're jumping, but it's still really good to help build up our bones. The other thing that we can do is get plenty of sunshine. Our body needs vitamin D to absorb the calcium in our foods. And the most natural way that we can get vitamin D is through getting some sunshine. Milk is primarily the thing in our diet that gives us vitamin D. And so there aren't a lot of other foods where we can get vitamin D. So definitely drinking milk and getting plenty of sunshine, and then looking for those things like the calcium fortified juice that also has vitamin D added in it as well. So this week, I just want you to kind of pay attention to the food you're eating at each meal that contain calcium. Do you feel you're getting enough calcium? Are your children getting enough calcium, or your grandchildren? Think about all of those foods. You might even keep a little chart for a few days and just kind of write down after each meal, did you have something that had calcium in it? If you feel like you're not getting enough, for adults, you might check with your doctor, or think about what you can do to supplement that, and then really paying attention to your kids and seeing, are they getting enough, and finding ways to add in some foods. I know for me, again, because I don't like to drink milk, so I try really hard to add spinach to as many things as I can when I'm cooking. So I always have like baby spinach in the refrigerator, and I add it to spaghetti sauce, or I add it onto my sandwich. I try to do all those kinds of things, any little thing I can to add in things to help give me calcium. And then continue to look for ways to get plenty of go activity each day. So this week, pay attention to how much calcium you're getting, and make sure that you continue to do some things to have some physical activity every day. So before we end our presentation, I just really quickly wanted to go through all the things that we've talked about over this past 6 weeks, because today is our last lesson. And so just to recap, the very first lesson, we talked about building a healthy plate. So choosing a variety of healthy foods each day. Some of the main messages that we got from that was make half of your grains whole grains, vary your vegetables, focus on whole fruits, choose low fat or fat-free dairy options, and vary your protein choices, and looking for ways to have some lean protein choices as well. We also talked about go activity, which is another way of saying physical activity. So finding ways to incorporate that into your daily life. Adults need 30 minutes of go activity, and youth need 60 minutes or 1 hour. We also talked about go slow and whoa, and I gave you some go slow whoa charts, and that you could be able to reference. And with that, we just want to talk about eating more of the go and slow foods each day, and eating whoa foods once in a while. And how we can take a food, it can start out as a go, and then when we process it and add things like sugar and salt and solid fat to things, we change those foods. And what once was a healthy go food now could become either a slow or a whoa. So again, just trying to eat more, choose more of those go and slow foods each day. We also talked about snacks, and because we typically don't eat enough fruits and vegetables throughout the day. Try choosing fruits and vegetables at snack time. Many reasons why we want to do that. They help you stay well. They help your body grow. They help you heal faster. They help keep eyes, skin, bones, teeth, and hair healthy. They help you stay at a healthy weight. They give you long-lasting energy, and they help decrease the risk for certain diseases. We talked about sugary beverages. So the message from there is limit our sugary beverages. A recommendation from doctors is that we try to stay somewhere between 6 to 10 teaspoons of added sugar per day. That's equivalent to 24 to 40 grams of added sugar. If you remember, if you look at the nutrition label and you find sugar, divide by 4, and that's going to tell you about how many teaspoons of sugar is in that item. And drink water. So drink more water throughout the day. A recommendation is that we drink 6 to 8 cups of water per day. That's for kids and adults as well. Last week, we talked about limiting our screen time. For youth, it's recommended that screen time use is 2 hours or less. For adults, there's not really, it's difficult to have kind of a recommendation, but anytime we can do things to limit that and be doing other things that we love, that is always wonderful. And then today, help keep your bones strong by eating calcium-rich foods, doing weight-bearing activities, and getting plenty of sunshine. Some resources. So if you wanted to know more about milk and dairy and recommendations and things like that, you can go to that particular website. I'm sorry, the first 2 sites on there are not live links, so you would have to type those into your search engine. But Winners Drink Milk, that is the the Indiana American Dairy Association. And then myplate.gov again has so much information on there that would be great to read through some of that. And then the Spin Smart, Eat Smart is down in the left corner. That is a live link that will take you directly to the recipe sites. And then the other 2 links on here today are our recipes that I'm sharing with you, which Brandon will be giving you those printed copies of the recipes as well. So today we're making the bell pepper nachos, and then we're also going to make a fruit and yogurt parfait. And so before I end today's session, I just thought I would end with a cute little picture just to say thank you so much for being a part, Tom and Martha and Paxton. And I know Tiffany's been on most of our live sessions. So thank you for being here live with me most of these weeks. And then all of you at home that are watching the recordings, thank you so much for participating. I've truly enjoyed sharing this information with you and can't wait to do it again sometime. So I'll stop sharing.
Yes, thank you, JJ.
Oh, you're welcome. It has been my pleasure. My pleasure for sure. So while that's still baking in the oven, I wanted to talk about something that we love at our house, which is a fruit and yogurt parfait. Does that look yummy, Paxton? Do you like strawberries, Paxton? Can he hear me? I do too. They're my favorite. So
we used to have strawberry plants.
Oh, I wish I could get those to grow really well. I would love that because I love strawberries so much, but I don't have luck with those usually. So I've just put in here strawberries. You can use whatever fruit you want, whatever fresh fruit. You could use a frozen fruit. If you had a canned fruit, just drain the juice off of it, whatever you like. So there doesn't really need to be a recipe necessarily for a fruit and yogurt parfait because you can make it however you would like. Today I have strawberries in here. I have vanilla yogurt that I purchased. And then the thing that makes it really yummy on top is to add some granola. So I usually have some kind of granola. There's all different kinds that you can find at the grocery store. If you didn't have granola, you could crumble up cereal on top of it. Many people will use like the little mini wheats and crumble that, or you could use Cheerios if you like Cheerios. Put that on top and we'll sprinkle that on top. and then it's ready to eat. So
Yes.
good. Another way that you, I eat one of these almost daily, either at breakfast time, or a lot of times I will eat one for a snack. Again, since I'm not drinking milk, another way to help me make sure that I'm getting plenty of calcium in my diet each day. That has a few more minutes to cook, and I may take it out of the oven a little early, but Tom or Martha or Paxton, do any of you have any questions about either today's lesson or anything that we talked about over the past 6 weeks?
I have a question.
Okay, I'll try to answer it.
Okay, it's concerning me. I like to read, and I read on my iPad. So is there concern with the amount of time that I am sitting and reading on my iPad? Is that considered screen time?
Yes, that is
screen.
It is considered screen time. And the only, I would say that you might check about, sometimes they recommend, because of the lights from the screen affecting your eyes, that you may want to have like, they make special glasses called, I think, blue light glasses that help filter.
I've heard that. Yes, I've heard that. So that's okay.
So I would check if you spend quite a bit of time reading from your iPad, I would check into maybe getting a pair of those.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't spend any nights, not hours or anything like that, but I knew that I did spend a lot of time on it. So I thought I'd ask the question.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime if you're just, searching for things on the internet or in reading, if you're going to spend some time doing that, you might want to have those glasses.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Martha or Paxton, do you have a question?
I have a question.
I love it, Paxton. You always have questions for me. I love it.
My question is that usually I always have a stuffed animal giraffe, and I call him Carafe.
You have a stuffed animal giraffe, and what? Tell me the rest again.
And his name is Carafe, and I can't sleep without him.
Oh, that happens sometimes. You know what? My daughter, she had a stuffed teddy bear that she couldn't sleep without either. So for a long time. So that's great. Sometimes we need those extra little snuggle things in bed with us, help us, comfort us. So
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So go ahead, Martha.
In the beans, like to eat more fiber and to get the beans and things, I see some of them have high cholesterol. How does that translate? Like, should we be concerned about that?
So you might want to check, because if it has high cholesterol, it's probably going to have more fat in it. If it has more cholesterol, and something with cholesterol, our bodies make all the cholesterol that it needs throughout. Every day we have all the cholesterol that we need. So anytime we're taking in extra cholesterol, it's more than we actually need. So trying to find ways to limit that. So you might check and see, just read the nutrition labels. This one, I just checked my black beans to see what they have, and they don't have any cholesterol. There's no fat and there's no cholesterol in these. So would it be like more like possibly like a refried bean or something like that? Was it like that?
That's what we had last night with our chicken fajitas. So,
yes.
And I
so
noticed
those are definitely going to have more fat in them. So you could look and see, I think they do make some fat-free refried beans. Maybe you might check to see if you could find some of those.
So do the dried beans have that much cholesterol, or is it mainly the canned processed?
Yeah, it'll be like the canned processed. Those refried beans are gonna have them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of the oven because it should be about finished. I may have to stick it back in there, but I wanted to go ahead and show you what it kind of looks like. Can you all still hear me? I took my earbuds out so I don't have to keep taking
Yes, I hear you.
Perfect. let me pull this down a little bit. So it looks like it's pretty well done. What do you think?
Looks yummy to me.
It
Oh,
looks so it looks good, doesn't it? So Paxton, if grandma makes this, you should try it, okay? Try bell pepper. And so once it's finished, then you could add some olives to it or onions. I have some cilantro that I'm going to sprinkle on top. If you wanted to add lettuce to it, or sour cream or Greek yogurt, sorry, you could do that as well. Whatever toppings you like, you could add some additional toppings to it. But set to go. I love it. I think it looks beautiful.
I also have another question.
Okay, what is it, Paxton?
Usually, you remember the stuffed animal I was talking about who was crab?
Uh-huh.
He's way big.
He's really big. Well, I'm glad he's big. So you take good care of him, okay? All right. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this when you make it. Tell me about last week. We had, what did we make last week?
The graham crackers and peanut butter and chocolate cocoa. When I went to get the chocolate to put with it, I didn't like all the list of ingredients. There was a whole big list of ingredients, a lot of the names I couldn't even pronounce. So I just put regular baking cocoa in it instead of that. And it's not real sweet because there's no sugar in it. And it tastes great.
Good.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
I did. Go ahead.
Martha, did you try making them yet?
We did. We made them this morning. Paxton hasn't tried them yet, but his mommy and daddy snuck one as they went out the door a while ago and said they were delicious. So
Awesome.
that's his treat this afternoon. And we did make the healthy pizzas with the non-bread, and they were really good. And I got some spinach under Paxton's cheese.
Yay!
He ate it.
Did he eat it? Did he know it?
He found it, but he ate it anyway.
Yay, Paxton. Good job. I'm proud of you, Paxton. Did you even taste it? You probably didn't even taste it.
Could you taste it?
Well, I did taste it, but I took off the tomatoes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here each week. It truly has been a joy to visit with you, to share with you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, JJ.
You're welcome. Again, you have my email address. So if you ever have questions, you can reach out and email me, and I'll be happy to kind of investigate and find an answer for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye, Paxton.
Thank you.
Bye.